Imagine a world where you can run your favorite Windows applications and drivers in that open source environment you've always wanted. Imagine a world where you have systems that are still compatible with Windows 2003. Imagine a world where you don't have to pay for your Windows license and you can keep your hardware running. Imagine a world where you know it's time to get rid of Windows 2003 and XP in your environment, and there's a free open source replacement that works 100% and is fully compatible, and best of all, it's open source. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Well, carry on imagining that world because that doesn't exist. So, sadly, of course, there is ReactOS, and ReactOS originally started in the late 90s, called FreeWin, and it was supposed to be an open source clone of the original Windows 95. Eventually, project was rebooted and started with the aim of being compatible with Windows XP, Windows 2000, maybe even 2003, and of course ReactOS was born. And ReactOS, of course, relies heavily on Wine, right? Same Wine that Linux uses, and at times macOS, to bring compatibility of the Windows API and DLLs of applications to start. So, what is ReactOS? ReactOS, in theory, is a free and open source replacement of Windows, and what they've done, the team, is basically gone and copied a lot of the look and feel and functionality of Windows with the hope that one day this project will reach stable. Now, just to give you some context here, I mean, it's already 2022, and well, yeah, still not really stable. One of the big downsides to ReactOS is, like so many systems, is lack of hardware support. So, hey, if you can't support the hardware, it's not going to work. And also some limited applications that it can actually run. But I thought, hey, you know what? Let's take a look anyway. So what I did was download the latest release, stable release, and 0.4.14. Please note this software is still pre-production, and I've opted to run it in a virtual machine. You'll see in the virtual machine I've chosen Windows XP Professional, and that's because so that if you choose XP Pro, it virtually assigns a virtual IDE hard drive. If we were to do 2003, it would probably be SCSI and it wouldn't work. So I've already got ISO, XP Pro, gonna go here. That's fine, 40 gigs. Customize the hardware a little bit. Give it 4 gigs. Memory, 4 cores, completely and utterly overboard. Hit finish. Start. And of course, the all familiar setup screen. If you'd ever set up any Windows 3, 3.1 up until Windows 7, you would have recognized the screen. So of course, like most, we're going to hit enter to install it, enter again, accept the license terms, disk, and we can choose either a FAT file system, FAT, or BT RFS. Yes, the same Btrfs file system that you would get on Linux is supported here. Hit enter to install, and it's going to install it to C ReactOS, and of course all the familiar installation screen. Going to install our bootloader, restart, and of course it is stupidly quick, which is really great. And this looks so familiar. It even calls itself, the reports as Windows NT 5.2, and the reason it does that is to remain with software compatibility. And of course it acknowledges all these fantastic different systems. You get the Workstation Edition, Server Edition, and the biggest difference, of course, between these two is one or two additional applications available, but it also keeps the my pictures, my videos, and my music independent. Again, we could customize locale, keyboard. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to keep it to owner, not too worried about its actual name or the region. We've got options of classic, lattice or lunar, or Mizu, so more like Windows XP inspired, original 95. I'm just going to stick with original. Leave it as a work group. Let it restart. And already you can see how it looks so similar to the Windows 2000 days. Okay, and that was pretty quick. So let's maximize the screen. Of course it picks up devices, but doesn't support it. Can't find any drivers for it. And let us right click here. Go to settings. And give this a resolution we can actually all see. One down. There we go. And of course, if you were to show this to someone quickly, it literally does look like Windows 2000 or 2003. The normal traditional start menu, the right click, arrange icons, right? Or even the normal My Computer. And if I was to go about, same example here. Heck, it even has a C drive, documents and settings, program files, right? And even a normal command prompt. Right, that is so similar that you can't even you can still only use the DOS and 9x syntax for it. If I was trying to use Linux syntax, it doesn't work, just like the real thing. So, looking at it like this, even this control panel looks pretty awesome. Add hardware wizard looks great. Mouse settings, I mean, really, it looks like as if it was, and I quote it, an open source drop-in replacement for 2003. Right? That's great. And you'll think, hey gosh, wow, this is really usable. Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but this is where the fun and games come in. So, let's say I want to install applications, and I go to Application Manager. It's going to update its little database, and here it's like, wow, it's got the Application Manager that we really wish maybe Windows had in the past. And it's got all these different types of applications. Freaking awesome, right? These are all available for installation. But check it a little bit closer. The most recent version of Firefox's support is 48. You can try to install the newer versions of Firefox. It won't load. So let's say I right click and go to install. Very quickly pulls it down from the repos. Go next. More Firefox installer. Launch it. We don't want to import. And looky here. Yay, Firefox 48. Looks pretty sniffy, hey? You can upgrade to 52E, otherwise this thing ain't gonna start. And of course we can even go to Google. Right. And at least this version supports HTTPS. We can even go do a search for ReactOS's website. Go to the website. Oh, already starting to complain. Right, certificates. We'll go advanced. We'll add the exception. Confirm. Carry on. Right, it's because this version of the browser is so old that in today's modern world, it ain't gonna be supported. But you might think, hey, that's my website. Oh, let me show you. Let's say I want to go to YouTube. Right, with Firefox 48. Even YouTube complains. Yes, I can hit remind me later and it's going to load YouTube. But these are the type of things to bear in mind. Right? you can't install the latest software on it, right? Because its compatibility is set for an older version of Windows that no one wants to make software for anymore. So while in theory it's great, I mean, heck, I can install Notepad++, right? It's going to walk through. It's going to be awesome. And it's quick. Oh my gosh, it's quick. But here's the thing. What does it help if you can't use some of the newer software for it? Granted, if you have an old machine, you might be able to install Sound Blaster. So we can install the Sound Blaster driver for VMware. Right, so that's if we actually want to get our sound working. We can do that. But no, it even has Winamp will work, VLC. But without some newer, more normal, traditional software, it's a little bit of an issue. And I can only imagine for some proprietary systems that get used, it might not actually support it, which is really such a shame. Speed-wise, stupidly quick. Ease of use, very easy, especially if you know the older versions of Windows, and it literally looks the same. So from a conceptual idea, it's freaking awesome and amazing, and I really wish it was further along. But its biggest problem is, as time is ticking forward, if we could install this on additional types of hardware and better supported hardware, then it might be more useful. But now, as the world is moving forward, we kind of need to somehow use some newer bits of software. So if this could at least support newer web browsers and a little bit more hardware, then yes, then it would be much closer to its goal. Which is, it's really sad, because I mean, if you just see, it really offers so much and would be a great alternative. But I'm just hoping the day's going to come when this is eventually stable and reliable, that it'll still have a use. Right now, if you've got some really old hardware and you need it to manufacture whatever, and you air gap it, and you've still already got your licenses, you might as well use your normal Windows 90, not 95, your normal Windows 2000 or XP, whatever, right? Because you kind of know your proprietary stuff is going to work on it. Or at least put it in a virtual machine and close it off and add whatever security you need to make sure it doesn't go into the internet. But right now, really wishing all the best for the ReactOS developers. Hope it really becomes more usable. Now it's kind of like a snapshot of the past to remind us of what's come and gone, except it can't do nearly as much as the system it's based on. Which is really strange if you think about the fact it uses Wine, and Wine these days on Linux can support much newer software, so there's still hope for it one day. Anyway, if you're a user of ReactOS or have some comments or completely disagree, would be great to hear from you. As per always, thanks for watching.